Well, first off, I was going to make a video of my past content, some news that was been going on, but I've had some audio problems as my audio got recorded twice and it kept overlapping each other, so I have to start that one all over again. But I'm going to start things off with just this video alone, and I have returned from a Furry Week in Atlanta for the very first time in 8 years. I have not been to this particular con since 2014. Because when they first moved to them, because when I stopped going to FWA, they were at the Westin at the time, and I didn't think that FWA was going to be getting better at that point because I've had problems at the Westin, especially with like elevators. The staff, they were not great. But I will say the staff at the Marriott Marquis, they are better. They were very helpful. They really worked hard, and when I first arrived at that hotel, they were mobbed. That goes with parking, their front desk. People were waiting an hour, but they were trying their hardest. I mean, when you have over 7,000 attendees coming in at once, that it's really tough on them. So I mean, as as frustrating as it is to wait over an hour in line for a hotel room, they're doing the best they can. So I give credit to them, how hard they worked. So yes, so I arrived at Atlanta on Thursday, and getting in was tough. There were some cars that were blocking the intersection just to get into the hotel, and I know that there's a few that actually used a parking garage next door. I decided to just take the valet, which meant more money out of my pocket, mainly for security reasons. I don't really trust downtown cities all that much as of late, especially with other big cities where crime's been going up. So until all that settles down, I really don't trust my car being out in another garage. So I trust the marquee with my car. So and the advertised rate was $55 a night, which sounds very high to me, but luckily I did get a discount and I only paid $28 a night. So that was a good ease on my wallet there. So yeah, I first go into the hotel. I mean, and I know that it was huge, but I had to see for myself how big this was. This was like, if I recall, was it like 48 floors high? I'm trying to remember, but I know it was under 50 floors. I was placed on the 31st, and wow, that it's dizzying just looking down. It reminds me of a previous hotel. I can't remember if it was Hilton or what was the other hotel that was back then. It was the Hilton Atlanta. Yeah, it was same thing. They had a big elevator. It was like I don't think it's as big as the Marriott, but it's big. So, but when you have big hotels like this, I've like with the Westin in Pittsburgh, their elevators that you input your floor number and it directs you to an elevator. In the Marriott Marquis, they actually have 16 different elevators, and they're divided into 4 groups, each one serving a section of the building. Like mine went from 31 to I think 41. I think I'm trying to remember what the range was, but each one it serves a certain block, which does help with the elevator traffic. Though, as I saw on Saturday, there are still some issues, especially with people using the elevator to go the opposite direction and then go back the other way, just because they've been waiting for so long. I remember waiting like 10, 15 minutes for an elevator. It was getting ridiculous. Uh, but back to the convention. So the so there were uh, many rooms. They got their panel section. You got the main ballroom, which was on the atrium. And it's pretty easy to get lost in this hotel if you don't know where you're going. But there's three main levels. You got the atrium level, which is the above the lobby. You have your lobby level in the center, and then you have what they call the Marriott level, which is really their bottom level. Where the now on the Marriott level, you got the board game room, you got the video game room, fursuit lounge, and something called Furry, which I got to check out, and this was really cool. This is a room where you go in and you actually stand with the avatars from VR chat, like actual people using VR chat. You get to interact with them. I mean, this is like a new level. They use that same technology during the dances on Saturday. I saw it on Saturday night, and it's nothing like I've ever seen before. It's a really cool concept. So I really like what the people at For Reality have done. Now I've been trying to get into VR chat myself, but I don't know how to make a character. I have never used Blender, and I don't know who to go for to create a character. So that's something I really need help with. I only have experience with Second Life, and I have not used it in years. So if anyone knows anybody that does Blender, give me some suggestions, because I would love to join in on VR chat. But of course, I don't have the resources. Uh, the lobby level, you have, of course, the front desk. Really, the only things going on over there are the convenience store and a Starbucks. Which the Starbucks there, I know stuff has been getting expensive as of late, but they've been pushing something new. Something like a toasted vanilla oat milk espresso. It was over $6, which I've never paid anything that expensive. Maybe other people have. I personally have not. I usually the stuff I get is like $5.25 or something like that, and that's like for a regular latte. So that may be because of the material, the ingredients they use. Um, so I'm not one to complain. Uh, but there are other stuff which I will get to. And then the atrium levels where all the other stuff occurs. You got the panels, you got the main ballroom. There is a steakhouse. There's a sports bar. This is probably the largest section of them all. And so it's a really, I have to say that Furry Week in Atlanta, since the last time I've been there, I think they've really improved since I've last saw them 8 years ago. So I give them credit for what they did. Now, before I get into what I believe are the good, okay, and bad parts of it, there is one thing we do need to address. Before the con had started, they had to put out something that they said that they were not going to have a mask mandate. They got complaints from everyone about the mask mandates, and this is where things get really muddy with like what the CDC is saying and what all the data is showing. So yeah, originally Furry Week in Atlanta was going to have no mask mandate. So after hearing everyone, they had decided. So what they said was that we can only control what we have in our convention spaces. We'll have a mask mandate and say that the artist alley, the main events, anything that we have under our control. But once you go into the hotels area, in the main hotel areas, the atrium, the lobby, the anything outside of convention areas, we cannot do anything about that. And that's so it's pretty much a compromise, which I'm personally okay with. I mean, they've checked everyone, make sure everyone had their vaccine. I got mine. I have my 2 shots of Pfizer plus a booster, so I was really not worried about it. And I've carried my mask around and used it to everyone. I mean, there was one time I accidentally went into the artist alley like 15 seconds afterwards. I realized I didn't have my mask on, and I immediately put it back on. Um, but that's because it's been a while since I've actually had my mask on, but I still keep it with me just in case. Uh, but I really am not concerned about COVID myself. Because like I said, I've done everything. I've got my vaccines. Uh, and there actually has been another controversy with another con. With I guess I'll go over real quick. That Anthrocon had said that they were not going to put in fans in their fursuit lounge because they were afraid of the virus spreading around, and everyone's like, "No, you got it all wrong." The CDC said that you need ventilation. They said ventilation helps move the air around and actually moves the virus away. Now, I mean, I can understand the this has been a few years, but that rack where everyone could place their heads on, and a fan blows inside them. I mean, I understand not using that. I totally understand because everyone's sharing it, but yeah, not only you're not making the fursuiters comfortable, you're using flawed logic on what the CDC says about avoiding the virus, and you would think that being concerned about the virus, you would keep up with what they say. Now, to be fair to them, they did post that they were going to review it, but it makes me wonder what made them come to that conclusion in the first place. But that's another story. Let's get back to Furry Weekend in Atlanta. Now, I made a list of some good and some bad. Now, first off, I'll start with the good. I really like the hotel. Big hotel, and the rooms. I actually have a photo of this. The beds were surprisingly low to the floor. Like it was like to my knee, and I wasn't too sure about it. But you know what? I actually prefer it. Yeah, I actually like these low-lying beds. Very comfortable, and of course we have we got the TV and. Yeah, I really do. And I was placed near the elevators, which was really great. But and like I said, aside from Saturday, the elevators were actually not too bad. When it comes to food, now I was concerned that I would have to go outside to go to another restaurant, but it turns out I didn't have to. Because there is actually a bridge that connects to another building that leads to a shopping area with a whole food court. And, which I was real happy about that because, again, I was concerned about safety. And this is a huge plus. And it gave me the opportunity to look at some local businesses. And I've had Cuban food for the first time. Because when it goes into another area, I'm kind of a little hesitant, but I got what was it called? It it was a melt. It was pulled pork with peppers, pepper jack cheese, and it was real good. So I'll definitely be coming back to them. But yeah, if you're looking for food, connected to the atrium, use that bridge. I mean, yeah, you won't be disappointed, and at very reasonable prices. So a big plus to them. Now, I was one of the DJs for the Silent Disco on Saturday. Now, this is the first time that I have ever performed on a Saturday. And now, of course, Silent Disco, this is not the main event, but it is an opportunity to perform in front of everyone. Now, a couple of pluses with Silent Disco, unlike the main stage, I get to perform for 2 hours instead of one. And now I was alongside Witty Cat and Barcode. And if you've never been to a silent disco before, it's that all three of us play at the same time, but we broadcast on a radio frequency, and you are given these headphones which will tune into one of three different channels, and they're all color coded. I was assigned the blue channel. There's also a green and a red channel. And you flick this switch on the side, and your headphones will light up to the color that you're tuned to. And I mean, as much as I liked people listening in to my music, I made sure to give the other two DJs an opportunity to have people listen onto their stream. So I cut in on my microphone every now and then, say, be sure to check out these two as well. I'm not the only one here. And here's another big thing. Our coordinator, DEFCON, he had said to us that on all 3 days that we've had the silent disco, all of the headphones were taken. Every single one of them. Yep. So we can say it is a huge success. And I would say that I'm looking forward to FWA again. So don't be surprised. I wasn't too sure. I mean, I went to FWA because I was chosen to be at the silent disco, but now I'm glad I went. And here's another big thing for FWA. Their attendance really had a big boom. Their attendance this year has been announced at 7,212. And that is over 1,500 more than the previous con back in 2019. Remember, we did not have 2020. We did not have 2021. And I'm not counting the online con. But and they've also raised $50,000 again for the Conservator Center, which has been their charity since 2007. So $50,000 for the third year in a row. So very, very good. And with that puts Furry Weekend Atlanta now at number 3 on the list of cons by attendance. That puts them right by Biggest Little Fur Con and Furry Fiesta. Now, to be fair to BLFC, they have not had their con this year yet. It's going to be next month. And when they had their con in November, there was still some people that were hesitant about going to cons because they were still concerned about COVID. And that goes the same with Midwest Fur Fest, which as of right now dropped to number 2. They actually lost attendees again for the same reason, because people were still concerned about COVID. And in case you're wondering, that puts Anthicon at number 1 again, but though I don't expect it to be for that long. Speaking of BLFC, I'm actually going to take a break from it this year because of 2 reasons. One is because that I went in November, and I I feel that it's a little too soon for me to come back. So I'm going to wait till next year for a BLFC. Don't worry, I will come back. The second reason is airline tickets have gotten real expensive. Usually when I go to BLFC, my plane ticket's like around 400, 450. Now it's above 800. And for me, that's too expensive. So because of that, I'm going to take a break from BLFC. But don't worry, I do plan on coming back. It's just not going to be this year. But I'm getting sidetracked again. Now, one thing of note. Now, they did something a little bit different compared to my previous conventions. Instead of getting badges to show that you have paid to attend the convention, they instead give you wristbands. These are wristbands that have a little chip that's an RFID chip that you scan, because they have these pedestals at the doors of each of the convention spaces, and you use them, and when you got clearance, the pedestal will light up green. Now, I do like the concept of it, though I do have one complaint about the wristbands. The wristbands you can tighten, but you cannot loosen. I would rather have the option of loosening it so I can take it off every night, because I don't like the idea of sleeping in my bed with a wristband. So like I said, I like the concept of the RFID chip, but I at least want to be able to take it off now and then. And even one of the staff members at registration saw that I was wearing the wristband loose. It's like, you're supposed to tighten it right. That's because they told me that I cannot loosen it once I tighten it. And what happens if I tighten it too much? So that would be an issue. So again, don't get rid of the RFID chip. I mean, I like the idea of it, but I want it to at least be able to loosen if I need it. All right, now let's get to the downsides of. Now, yeah, you know that I've been talking about the food court, and honestly, I think that's the preferred way to go, because they do have catering, which it's okay. It's like they do have pizzas for like what was it, $13, $14, depending on what kind you have, and then you have like cheeseburgers, or even a turkey corn dog for $7 each. And then you combine that with like a 12 ounce can of soda, $3. For me, that's too high. And I know that other hotels have done the same thing, but and I know some marquee, but it's even worse at their sports bar. $10 for a beer, and I'm not just talking like domestic. We're talking like almost the whole list. Every single beer was like $10. Now I know beer is on the expensive side compared to other beverages, but $10 for me, unless if it's like a real premium brand. To me, it's not worth $10. Like I said, even the domestic ones, like Bud Light, they were on the high side. I'm trying to remember, was it like $7, $8? I think. Now again, to be fair, they did have their own menu for FWA, and so. But what was it? I think they had a drink called Down the Rabbit Hole. That was listed at $15. And again, for me, it's a little bit high. But I'm sure that people will disagree with me. But for me, $15 is a little bit too high. And but probably the worst part is FWA's app. I can't figure this thing out. Because I've been looking all over for the before I went to FWA. I've been looking all around for the schedule. It's not on their website. Instead, they direct you to their FWA app. But here's the problem. I can't get this thing to work. Because all I get, let me see if the camera will pick it up. This is like the only thing that shows up. Even when I tap this, all it'll give me, can it show up on there? Yeah, I may have to adjust the brightness on it. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, you probably can't see it, but what it's showing right now is like it's showing a Google Maps for the place. It has the charity on there. It does list the room hours for the registration, dealer's den, board game room, video game room. But there's nothing about events anywhere else. And I've tapped on Peachtree Center. Doesn't give me anything. I've tried. There's a tab on here. Again, I don't know if you can see it. But there's a tab called Your Events. I tap that. I got nothing. And so there's a button that says Search Events. I try searching it. And it keeps bringing this up. And it brings me to the same screen. And map. The map doesn't help me. So, frankly, I'm not happy with this app. I don't know what to do with this. I look. It tells me to go on this app for the schedule. I can't find a schedule on there. Frankly, I really do not like this app. What I've had to do is I've had to go onto Twitter and look for someone who has found the schedule, and I ended up having to screenshot it. And it was too much of a hassle. So, frankly, they really need to fix this app because I really don't know what to do with this. Because I cannot find a schedule anywhere, and there's like nothing that helps on it. But if anyone did figure it out, do tell me otherwise. But I just cannot figure this out. But despite that, this was a very good convention. It really was. And I really did enjoy myself. I wasn't too sure if I was after 8 years of being away from it. And I really think they really pulled through. So I think they can expect me back again. So with all that said, as far as what is my next convention, I don't know yet. Like I said, I don't have BLFC on my schedule this year for my said reasons from earlier. Megaplex is one that right now I'm on the fence on because of, if you saw in the previous video, there's been some drama with their board of directors, and I'm not sure where this is going to go. There are other conventions that I am looking at, like Indie FurCon, which is one that I've never been to. So that is a possibility. Of course, there's going to be Whiskered, which will occur in October in Durham, which is really close to me. But as far as anything else, I'm continuously looking. Perhaps that will be what my next video will be on. Looking at what other conventions will be going on, and there's especially some stuff that I do need to address. But for now, that's pretty much all I need to say about Furry Week in Atlanta. Made some new friends, saw some old ones, and this was pretty much a joy. So I will see you guys later.